And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener, your host, Ken Lane, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And oh boy, is this ever, the butterflies are out. We're starting to see painted ladies. I saw my first swallowtails, which swallowtail is that great big yellow butterfly with the long tails. It's actually our state butterfly for the state of Arizona. Painted ladies are not as known. They're smaller and they're orange in color with black stripes and stuff. So anyway, they come out and they're kind of the first ones, and then swallowtails come out, and then monarchs, and then all of the others. We're on the migratory pattern here in the mountains of Arizona, and so we start to see hummingbirds. The migration of birds of all types. You will absolutely be amazed at the varieties. So we counted or identified birds here for a while, and we found over 96 varieties of birds right here at the garden center. And so there's a lot going on. You can find that many or more. Right now I've got mallard ducks. Oh my gosh. What the heck are those crazy ducks doing in my backyard? They're enjoying the pond. It's not that big. They're enjoying it. It's hilarious. But when you start to hear ducks in the landscape, you're kind of going, now what the heck is that? I'm overlooking Watson Lake. I'm just over the hill from Willow Lake. And so, Prescott, Arizona is noted as the city of 5 lakes. And so we do have a lot of waterfowl here, but not in your backyard. And so I think that's also part of the reason we are on that migratory pattern. They're coming north to south, south to north, and they are using the waterways. And so they're using the Verde River, and they kind of pop up over here, and they're looking at the lakes, and they keep going further north. And it's just, this is a paradise. This is God's country up here in the central highlands of Arizona. Just the mountains are stunning, and the birds know it. And so they are using that. So you can attract a lot of different wildlife in your backyard, and butterflies are a natural. And so right now you can start planting. We just had our first order of milkweed come in, or Asclepia. Is that what I think that's the Latin name for milkweed. Butterflies love that. Monarchs are famous for it, but all butterflies like milkweed. They also like alyssum. They like candytuft. Candytuft is a beautiful perennial. It's blooming white right now throughout the North Country. So this is a wild perennial that just grows out there in nature. So animals don't eat it. So javelina, deer, rabbits, but butterflies and hummingbirds know what it is and go, this is a nutritional source. I can rest here for a moment and then keep flying. And so it's a natural for them. Butterfly bush. It says butterfly bush. It actually does attract butterflies. Lilacs, though, actually attract even as many or more pollinators to it, because it blooms early on. When butterfly bush is more of a summer bloomer. The other name for that is summer lilac. So it usually blooms right after the lilacs do. And so, but the lilacs are the first. That's a great source. I think your herbs, like lavender, rosemary, great pollinator for plants. They attract butterflies and bees. The bees are really hungry right now because they have been in hibernation since October, really. So that's a long time for them to hibernate. And so they're coming out with a ferocious appetite, and the queen is needy. So they're going out foraging, trying to find anything they can find in bloom right now. Right now, number one for them, manzanita. They just know what it is. And so they go and pollinate the manzanita, which is in full. You'll see a nice evergreen with red bark. It's got these tiny, kind of like bigger than BBs, but smaller than marbles. Okay, that's hard to just, okay, over the airwaves. I wish I could show you those, but it's a bell-shaped flower, hundreds of them on this evergreen bush, and you'll see bees and butterflies all over that. So I think we can attract more wildlife into our landscape. Even if you're in an apartment, you could easily set a container of penstemons. Hummingbirds are going to be all over that. They cannot resist They're native penstemon. This is a wild flower, grows up about knee high. It's not quite in bloom up here yet. It's in full bloom down in Wickenburg. Lisa and I went down there last weekend, and it's in bloom down there. And the hummingbirds were fighting over those flowers. They just loved it. And they'll do the same thing. You don't have to put a hummingbird feeder in your yard to attract hummingbirds. They're naturally going to come because we're on the migratory pattern. We're naturally here, along with all of the other birds. What's really fun, we had the owls are back. And so we've got a pair of horned owls that just hang out in the backyard, and they're hooting up a storm. That's a beautiful sound. Okay, so mallard ducks are kind of like whack, whack, whack. That's not, in my world, a beautiful sound. But to hear an owl just whispering, talking out in the back gardens, and I'm sure they're overlooking the ponds like the ducks are and waiting for a meal to crawl by. So they are keeping my voles, my rats and chipmunks down. That's good. So you don't want to be that in my backyard, because there are we've got some hawks, kestrels that are also kind of hanging out around. So if your yard becomes active enough, it starts to feed on itself. They start to attract more and more. And what it takes is you need cover for birds. They got to feel safe. You need a place to roost. They want to either hang out. Right now, I've got a quail in my lavender. So it's a nice, big, thick lavender. And there's a quail's nest in there. And every time I go up and down the stairs where that lavender is, she freaks out. It's just kind of, they kind of spook you. And you almost have a heart attack when they fly out of the nest. Of course, she's trying to get you to look away from the nest and look over here. Look at me. Follow me. So it's just fun to watch that. And then I'll get to have a quail family run around the yard. It's just a delight. That's part of the joy. So part of our gardens at the Lane Casa, we are gardening for us. We've got edible gardens, beautiful gardens. I'm a flower gardener myself. I want beautiful flowers. I like fragrance. So we just had our first scented geraniums come in, just beautiful scented fragrance where people can walk by it. It fills the patio up with this wonderful smell. But then the lower half of the gardens are for the birds. And so we plant extra blackberries. I have an extra grape just for them. I've got rosemary, trailing rosemary, across the dry creek bed just for the pollinators. I've got salvias and blue mist spirea over there just for the birds. They're beautiful, but it's for me and it's for them. You can have your cake and eat it too. We are Americans, the greatest country that's ever lived. We can have our cake and frost it and the whole thing all at once. And we can have that and enjoy life, watch a sunset. I mean, it's a beautiful place. In fact, they were saying, I just read it in, I think it was the Washington Post on Sunday. They said that people enjoy sunsets and sunrises more than they even enjoy a symphony. They've got science on this stuff. This is crazy. So it's just like we enjoy this more than a beautiful painting. So that's just nature's beauty. And we are in the heart of it, are we not? It's just beautiful. I could finally be out in the front yard and read the paper on the front yard sofa chairs outside in my jammies. So if you see someone like with messy hair and looks like they just got out of bed, well, okay, that's me. So just enjoying the fresh air, and the butterflies and the hummingbirds are out there floating around. They just like that. And so I noticed my little finches and stuff. They're coming into the pavers and they're picking the sand. I've got silicon sand in between the pavers to lock them in place. Those doggone birds are just, it's antics watching them. They're picking up the sand just right at my feet, pecking around, looking for, I'm sure they're using that for digestion or whatever birds do with sand. They're enjoying my front yard to do it more with. So gosh, spring is a delight. I love it. A lot of the first of the flowers are going in. My peonies are about to bloom. Oh, there's a lot going on. Anyway, you can attract butterflies to your yard. Got a lot in store for you. We're going to take a break here. Have Lisa Waters laying in with your garden questions right after this.